If you look at the legislation as currently drafted that we are about to be asked to pass, what are the risks that you see, particularly for disabled women and women playing in informal carer roles?
The risks that I see are because of the uncertainty around this needs assessment tool. We know that this is being driven by massive cost savings to the scheme, which naturally means that what is going to happen is people's supports will be cut, right? People's supports will be cut. And practically what that means for women who have a connection to disability in this country is that they will be picking up all that unpaid support work principally. I predict there'll be a lot of mothers having to quit their employment to pick up the supports that were maybe previously funded and now is not being funded, which creates further vulnerability if you're in a domestic violence situation because you lose your financial independence, you're not earning superannuation. For women with disability, there's such a, we've gone through a Disability Royal Commission where we've had story upon story upon story of the abuse, the sexual abuse and physical abuse that women with disability have endured in Australia through group settings and institutionalisation. And the real concern, and it's a very real concern, is that a lot of women from those trauma backgrounds, it's not just women, it's men as well, but in particular women, will be funded at a 1-to-3 support ratio and will be forced into those group situations again, where they'll be at risk of that abuse repeating itself. It defies just all sense of comprehension for me how we could go through a Disability Royal Commission and hear all of those stories and set those people up for that same prospect again. It's quite devastating and the risks are real, and I'm very concerned about women. I would say that most of my clients are women. It's always the mum who has taken on the administrative load of supporting the disabled loved one in the family typically, and they're the ones that go in and fight with the government about funding and getting things right and managing plans, and maybe even they're at risk of those nasty debts being raised against them because they've thought they're doing the right thing, and government says no, you've spent that wrong. And there's so many points of exposure for women and so many risks for women in general. But in particular, another thing that hasn't really been spoken about as a risk for women is the lack of foundational supports that we have any information on or don't seem to have been set up. And that is going to really impact women who have children who are on the scheme at the moment. And there's a sense that certain children will become a different class of participant even, and might even be asked to leave the scheme, and there's nothing there available. And that then puts, again, the mothers and the women that are supporting these children in very risky situations of weighing up, well, do I keep my job or do I reduce my work hours or do I have to quit my job so I can provide the support that my child needs now that they've been kicked off the scheme, and I don't seem to know how to review that decision, or this nasty needs assessment is not very helpful at all. What do I do about it?